I got into college. I wanted to be a writer, but I got pregnant. Now I'm a single mom.
Let me be honest with you right away. If you're looking for the lowdown on the problem with Jon Stewart in today's review, you're going to be disappointed, at least for the next few days. As more and more streamers and networks like to do, for reasons we can only assume why, Apple TV Plus, the home of the tedious foundation, has put an embargo on the much anticipated return of the X-Daily Show host until midnight on Thursday, exactly when the problem debuts. So, with that problematic situation in hand, we have some other small screen riches for you today. We take a jump back to Netflix Korean horror drama Squid Game, which debuted on September 17th, and a small jump forward to NBC's giant-scale Brea, which premieres tonight. Launching on Netflix on October 1st, Maid unites Addie McDowell and her Emmy-nominated daughter, Margaret Qualley. Then, a small shift down under to New Zealand comedy Good Grief, which kicks off on streamer Sundance Now on September 30th and IFC on October 4th. So, as we always ask, which one is the show that you have to watch this week?
지금 이 자리에 계신 여러분들은 모두 감당할 수 없는 빚을 지고 삶의 벼랑 끝에 서 계신 분들입니다. 게임에 참가를 원하지 않는 분은 지금 말씀해 주시길 바랍니다.
무궁화 꽃이 피었습니다입니다.
그 옛날에 어릴 때 하던 거 말이에요?
Earlier this week, Netflix boss Ted Sarandos said the bloodbath and mind that is Squid Game looks poised, based on initial viewership data since its launch earlier this month, to be the most popular original series on the streamer ever. Like any good band, the 9-episode Lee Jung-jae starring show is a meld of its obvious influences. Take some of the Oscar-winning Parasite, a boatload of Hunger Games, some Black Mirror, half a dozen graphic novels, and the 2000 Japanese thriller based on the book of the same name, Battle Royale, and you have this saga of broke and desperate everyday people competing in a winner-takes-all horror show for the amusement of the ultra-wealthy in the hopes of achieving their own freedom and fortune. Now, truth be told, Squid Game is not for the faint of heart. But, like some of the best genre content, there is more going on than just kill or be killed. And in between the cliffhangers and the masterful next season setup finale, that's where the real competition is, if you know what I mean.
They were right behind me. And then they were just gone.
I got you. I got you.
Where the hell are we?
Debuting tonight, NBC's Brea has a lot of ambition as a giant sinkhole opens up in the middle of LA. Clear influences, and in this era when networks seem to be on the sidelines in many ways, something to prove. Heavily promoted by the Comcast-owned net, the series is a very big swing, and you have to admire that. For sure, the opening minutes, when the sinkhole takes out most of the Miracle Mile neighborhood, including the just-opened Movie Academy Museum, and the gridlock of LA traffic becomes a death trap, is a showstopper. The issue is, as thousands fall down the sinkhole and dinosaur vultures soar out at one point, where does it all go from here in an apparent combo of Jurassic World and Lost? Hard to tell, as NBC has only made 2 episodes of Brea available, as time-crunch networks are apt to do with new shows. So once you get past the sinkhole, the special effects are okay, but with the tangents and characters, it's near impossible to piece together if Brea is leaning into the early years of Lost or the messy last season. And that's NBC's bad.
Gwen and I weren't expecting to inherit loving tributes. Just put the clothes on the body. It's like playing Barbie.
You look so exhausted.
I'm not.
I don't want to be around dead people all day. It's just depressing. You kind of have to put your feelings aside.
For the money.
For the family.
Annoying and arrogant millennial sisters inheriting a small-town New Zealand funeral home called Good Tributes from their grandfather sounds very 6 feet under, and not much more. But that is not the case with Eve and Grace Palmer's hilarious Good Grief. Coming to Sundance now and then IFC in quick order, the first season of the sly comedy starring its creator siblings debuted in its home country last year and is not to be missed on this side of the Pacific, Embalmed and more. With the on-screen sisters coming at their new inheritance from very, very different perspectives, Good Grief is all about the friction of death, life, DJing in Bali, and expectations, high, low, and buried. Still, as great as Good Grief can be, and whatever the new Jon Stewart show on Apple TV Plus might be, the show that you have to watch this week is the heartbreaking and sometimes heart-lifting Maid, starring Margaret Qualley and her real-life mom, Annie McDowell.
What you working on?
It's a story about a woman. She lives in a big, beautiful house. Kind of house that's on the cover of magazines. She's time to bake 7 pies from scratch if she wants to.
What's the conflict?
There isn't one.
Based on Stephanie Land's 2019 New York Times bestseller, Maid, hard work, low pay, and a mother's will, this 10-episode Netflix limited series from Shameless alums Molly Smith-Metzler and John Wells has almost as much violence as Squid Game. But here, it is emotional and economic, as Qualley's Alex flees from her asshole boyfriend, played by Nick Robinson, with their daughter and hits the hard realities of life in America, and literally and figuratively cleaning up other people's crap. With an expansive and excellent McDowell in a role that she was literally born to play as Alex's unreliable until she's not bipolar artist mother, the now single mom's descent through homelessness, social services, the court system, with an amazing scene best punctuated as legal, 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 and the truths of poverty in 2021, and a constantly compelling performance by Fosse Verdun vet Qualley, Maid doesn't offer clean solutions. Yes, there are undeniable questions here of race and privilege in an industry that is dominated by women of color, many of whom are undocumented. But what the occasionally tear-jerky and visually too clever by half Maid wipes away is the illusion of a rescue in a nation that prides itself on leaving people behind and blaming them for not getting ahead. Maid is a show about work. The day-to-day to get by, and the hour-to-hour in one's own head to break old habits in the hopes of new realities. And that is why Maid is the show that you have to watch this week.